Yeah, yeah, check, check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2, 1. Coming at you. We are. Ra, 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 ba, da, 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 da. We are moving. Just bust a move. Now, for those who will pick up this, drivecast in the future, have you worked it out yet? Have you worked it out yet? This is my personal reflection time. This is a way of checking to see if my thoughts are constructive, productive. Is there another word I could use? Containing sense, logic, to find out if they're applicable, to see if I can verbalize and output the meanderings of my mind. And in the process, find some kind of order in things. In the last episode, I talked about how skills in one area of life cross over into another. And this is kind of what the whole Drivecast principle is about. We all have thoughts that rattle around the empty cage of the mind. For some it's empty, for some it's not. We then have to process those thoughts. We then have to apply those thoughts. And that's not an easy process for most people. We all have good ideas. We all have good ideas. Doesn't matter who we are, where we are. There's not anybody who has only bad ideas, because you just wouldn't get very far. I don't think there's such a thing as is there a bad idea? Oh well, okay. I've had a few bad ideas in my time. In hindsight, in retrospect, but we tend to surround ourselves with people whose ideas reflect our own ideas. That's one of the reasons why people don't progress, is because they surround themselves with why can't I speak today? Familiarity. I almost said it properly. And similarity. Because that's what makes us feel like we fit in. It makes us comfortable. We I can't speak at all. We naturally migrate and navigate to these things. If we drink alcohol, we find other people who drink alcohol. If we're interested in performing circus tricks, we find other people who are interested in performing circus tricks. If we like cars, we join a car club. If we like reading fantasy novels, We join forums online. If we like playing board games, we try to find a group of like-minded people within our environment. Which reminds me, what was that card game? One of my students showed me. Whoa! Breaking through the speed of sound in a 7-seater vehicle is speeds up the heart rate, that's for sure. What was I talking about? One of my students introduced me to a card game that was really cool, and I was going to get it for my kids, and I can't remember the name of the card game. But it was based on an English word, and it was spelt wrong. Isn't it weird how you can remember parts of things but not all of things? I can see the game in my mind. These cards were round cards. They were in a tin. And you could play it in any language because it was about matching the pictures that are on the cards. It was an observation skill. Ah! I need to find that game. Anyway, see? Focus on your focus. Don't get distracted. Be proactive. Be active. Initiate. Do not be reactive. What do they call an explosion? A reaction, right? Think about it. Language. So, I'm working on a book to officially publish my last book online. It took me 7 years. 7 years, can you believe it? I self-published it in a period of about 6 months. But it was never done to the standard that I wanted to do it to. So I'm trying to speed up the process here. So again, I'm thinking through the thoughts out loud about the book. Now, if you haven't written a book or published a book before, the most important thing, can I say the most important thing? There's lots of important things. Yeah, everything from getting a publisher to marketing, doing interviews, having good content, realizing whether you're writing it for yourself or for other people, and you know, who's your target audience. There's so many important elements there. Quality of writing, getting feedback from people, having an opponent to discuss the writing with. Whether you're going to have a physical copy, a hardback, or it's only going to be an ebook. Where you're going to host it online, yada, 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 yada. All these things. Wow, look. There's a kite. It's kite weather today. Cool. I could never get any of my kites to fly when I was a kid. I tried. It didn't fly. method. The method. Oh, there's another one. Wow. And another one. Oh, how cool is that? It doesn't matter what the Slovaks do, because we're out here in central Slovakia. They try to perfect what they do. Yes, I'm critical of the culture sometimes, but it's a constructive criticism. Look, here's a compliment. People always focus on the, oh, you said negative things. Oh, I give compliments too, you know. The Slovaks, whatever they do, they try to perfect it. They really do. They go all in. Yeah, you can kind of see how that could be negative as well, right? So I wanted to rap to you about the book. So the book is, and the book might never see the light of day because it took me 7 years to finally publish the last one on a larger stage. It was published locally, but exactly, I was never satisfied with it, and until I got it up online earlier this year. So one thing I've got to realize is that despite the best of intentions, how does that line from the song go? It's hard to rely on my good intention because my head's full of things that I can't mention. It seems I usually get things right, but I can't understand what I did last night. And nobody's going to know where that came from. Unless you type it into Google, of course. So, the running title is The Language of Deceit. It's basically about the misdirection and lies that distract people from being the best that they can be, from being as successful as they can be in their own lives. And I've been struggling with the subtitle to explain it to people. There will basically be 7 chapters. The first 3 will be about education. The 4th one will be about language. This is a working process, so it still might change. And the last 3 will be about psychology, society, systems of control, etc., etc. 6 of the 7 chapters are written. I just have to work on the language, and the problem is that I have too much information, and I need to distill it into something that makes sense in a practical way for people. So I'm working on the subtitle, and what I've and it's got to sound catchy, it's got to sound interesting, it's got to sound inviting, it's got to sound like it can help you with something or answer some question for you. I thought at the same time it's also got to be honest, and it's not, in the sense that it's not going to solve all of people's problems, or even any of them in some cases. It might even create a few, because that's what information does. I'm fascinated by that Tony Robbins quote that we're always exactly where we need to be to learn exactly what we need to learn so that we can do exactly what we need to do. It's fascinated me. Why me? Why here? Why now? The answer is because that's where you need to be. You wouldn't be here if you didn't need to be here. Nothing happens without a reason. Even just because and mindlessness still has a unique purpose to it. Even not thinking is a kind of thinking. It's like even not believing is a kind of belief. So, what's the point? Subtitle of the book. I want it to be a how-to, which means I'm going to have to rewrite the end of all the chapters. It's a never-ending story. Da, 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 da. Okay, so the subtitle I'm working on is How to Navigate Through the Systems That Surround Us. I like that. Sense of purpose there. What is the book about? This is what it's about. Open the page, open the book. To find more, turn the page. So I then wanted to codify how it functions as a how-to book. Because, you know, how to do something is basically a process. You start with basically not having something, and then you go through a series of processes, and at the end of it you have something. Or you start with something and then you have something different at the end. That's very vague, isn't it? Okay, so I have initially broken this down into 5 stages, which again might change because I did this with a pen and paper in 30 seconds thinking out loud, how does this work? Does this work? There's a question. Mental note. Must take car to garage. It is vibrating when I put my foot on the brake. Huh. That can't be good. Something needs to be tuned. Right. Yeah, that's definitely not good. The steering wheel is going jugga 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 when I put my foot on the brake. The car is slowing down, but it's obviously not exactly as it should be. Just don't use the brake! Haha! Yes. I had new brake pads put on the car a couple of weeks ago, so obviously they need still to be properly aligned. Anyway, another trip to the garage. Yeah! It's the little things. It's the little things. So, 5 stages. I'm going to run through this quickly because I'm almost where I'm trying to get to. 5 stages in the process of how to. Stage 1, observation. Seeing the world for what it is. Recognizing the truth of your surroundings. A certain level of objectivity. Stage 2. Recognition. What did I write? Understanding the world. What's the difference between observation and well, first of all, you have to observe. And then you need to define what things are. So recognition is kind of defining what it is. Observation is seeing it. Recognition is defining what it is. Stage 3 is orientation. Orientation is where do I fit in to what is happening? What is my place? What is my position? What is my job? What is my role? What is my responsibility? How does what I do affect the things within my environment, and how does my environment affect what it is that I do? Always seem to be a lot of people just aimlessly wandering around in this town without much purpose. So that's orientation. Stage 4, contemplation. The personal planning stage where you think about the processes that you need and you prepare them. Is that what contemplation is? Contemplation is thinking. Template, contemplation, template, plan. There is a link there. I wonder if the subconscious mind is in recognition of these links while the conscious mind is just application. That's the 5th stage. Application is, you know, when you apply for a job because you want something different in your future. So this is the stage of change. This is where you implement your plan. And then you see where everything goes. And so I put down these 5 stages as the how-to processes of change. You observe, you recognize, you orientate, you contemplate, and you apply. And I've noticed that everyone who has success has some kind of system or method. They don't leave too much open to randomness within their processes and systems. Now there's a place for randomness as well. There's a place for senselessness. But in order to communicate with people, there definitely needs to be a system which can be clearly defined. No matter what you do, there needs to be a system which can be clearly defined. And so this is what I'm working on at the moment. This is where I am at. And as I said at the beginning, if you haven't worked it out yet, the whole point of Drivecast is external expression of the internal processes that my brain is going through, so that I can reflect back and see, is there some sense there? And I think we can all learn from this process, which is now available to us through the gift that we have of technology. So, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, I hope this has been of use to you. It's certainly been useful to me. And have a great day, and be purposeful, and be gracious in all your actions. Speak to you soon.